Welcome back to Crescent City Community College to work on your master's in the Maasverse. Our current course is focused on Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah Janet Maas. Today we are chatting chaps 17 through 24. That is a mouthful.
That's what she said. Warning. While we may be your silly gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. There will be spoilers for A Court of Thorns and Roses and some for Throne of Glass as we tie things in and connect the dots so you don't have to. We will only have spoilers for the current Crescent City we are chit-chatting about. Reminder that thoughts, feelings, theories, and just things we say can evolve, change, be debunked, or just be completely off the rails. Regardless, it's all for fun and not that deep, especially since we'll be tailoring our theories to the current book.
Now relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clench that clam, and let's get into it. Chapter 17. The opening sentence to this chapter makes me laugh because Bryce had just succeeded in nudging Hunt to oncoming traffic. Just no biggie. I think that's why I stole this chapter from you.
You really just wanted to talk about it?
I straight just Blakely was gonna write this chapter, but I straight jacked it because Bryce was shisty. Shisty Bryce.
It's giving the mermaids and Peter Pan. We were only trying to drown her, just shoving him in traffic. What?
She's so innocent. I just appreciate it that she has attempted murder already.
Good for her.
So Bryce finally made Hunt a list of suspects. She let him assume the worst of her while she was doing more than the Triari could, wearing Crocs in sport mode. Turns out she looked up Maximus Tertian on a dating site. He was in her relationship. Bryce found his girlfriend and made an appointment to get her nails done by her. She then got the hot goss that Max and Danica were not friends, despite what Micah thought. Max would have flaunted her name around. What she learned was that they had 2 degrees of separation, though, through the Viper Queen.
Proof that women are better investigators. My friend once hooked up with a guy in Arizona, and the morning after, she was unclear of his name. I had very limited information to go with. Within 30 minutes, I had his name, his parents' Facebook, their business, and I found their house on Zillow with an impressive closet. Update: this couple is now married after a one night stand and have a baby. Literally moved to Arizona within 2 months after this. And it's one of my favorite love stories. Was a bridesmaid in their wedding. So I just want to say, go be sluts on vacation, guys. You might find your happily ever after, even for one night. And if you don't know the guy's name, you can contact me and I will do what I can.
That's amazing. No, good for her. That's fucking incredible. Good for you.
No, I literally looked in Cam's eyes because he was like, can she stay? Asking. And I looked at those baby blues and I was like, not a serial killer. Yes. And I was like, give me the location. So I had her location and I was the mom and stayed up making sure that she was at his apartment.
What are her serial killer eyes? You looked into his eyes and knew that he wasn't a serial killer. So how? How do you know? What are
Dead eyes, you can just tell with dead eyes. You can look in the soul of someone, especially with blue eyes. You can just tell, like, oh, that person's evil or not. I have blue eyes, so I know this. And yeah, no, he wasn't. He's a great guy.
you look in the mirror every day, you're like, witch. I'm a witch.
So yeah, that's just my friend's lore, and it's great. Happily married. What a crazy story. She hooks up at a bachelorette party, a destination one, and then now is married to that one night stand.
That's a good story.
Go get yours, ladies.
Hunt is like, whoa, girl, it'll take forever to get a meeting because there's protocols. And Bryce is like, sure, Jan. Bryce is like, maybe you should tail the Sodom King. Micah said to do whatever was necessary. Hunt is just not impressed, giving big hall monitor Tamlin energy at this moment. And so she heads back to her apartment. I don't understand why you rolled your eyes during the Sodom King.
That's one of your better nicknames, I will say. That's a good one.
He's a hottie, and yeah. I don't know. I'm into him. He's on my bucket list. You know, the Sodom King can join my harem, my reverse harem. He's in. Hunt's
Yeah.
got passes, but Rune has passes, not at the same time. Like him
You
and Dex
know,
do not
the
do this.
Fathom King has a history of abuse, and you're like, it's okay. You're hot enough.
It's all about the looks, It's a
And you're
bit
like,
of
you
a
know what, Hunt? You're a hottie, but you're a little too bro like. You can come only when I say. Fathom King, slap a bitch, totally fine. Come on in.
I love that I hated Hunt. I was like, Hunt talks so awful. He's like, yeah, let's fuck. But Bottom King, abusive, love it. Let's go. What's
You
wrong with
should
me?
discuss that with Gloria.
I'm calling her because I feel like there's something to unpack here. I am concerned. Bryce did fucking eat Hunt for breakfast here. She's letting him think the worst, and here she is outsmarting the Triari. I'm sure Micah was in his crocs, making it so that they didn't find like the slutbag vamp's girlfriend. And I feel like her outdoing Hunt here was giving major modern Aelin vibes.
Little mastermind, little T Swift.
I do think Bryce would be into T Swift.
I think they all would. Different era.
100%.
Yeah. Different eras, but yes, they all would.
So in this excursion on the elevator back to her apartment, she's thinking about she's thinking about the Bottom King, but not in the way that I think about him, you perverts. She thinks about how his title is a courtesy, one as for all 7 Fae kings. No kingdom was truly their own. Even Avellan, the Green Isle ruled by the Stag King, still bowed to the Republic. Stag King, you say? What other kingdom was represented by the sacred white stag? To go back to Blakely's point about Lunathion being the southern continent and Pangera being Aurelia, which ironically has 7 territories. This definitely helps build their case for it, and it's just another way to tie in Throne of Glass.
So let's just think about the timelines, shall we? If the 3 worlds are stacked on top of each other and are separated just by time, which time is just a construct of the mind, not to get all woo woo on you, but it's true. Let's assume that the Tog world, Aurelia, is the past. So about 15,000 years ago. Akatar in Corinthian, we'll say is present. And then Crescent City is the future, just for argument's sake. Sarah Janet specifically named Pangera after Pangea, as well as Valbara, which were supercontinents, like I told you last time, that after time broke apart due to time and possibly an environmental event. So if Aurelia was 15,000 years ago and the Steri ruined it, so they had to flee and hop over and tried at Prynthian, that didn't work. So they jumped again and began building on the once ruined Aurelia, rebranded, as one does, and called them Pangera and Valbara after ruining it in a different timeline and were able to hop through the different rifts. So what if a portion of Aurelia broke apart and that had to move to the Isle? They had to move to the Isle of Avalon. The fact that it's the Stag King is wild, considering what we know of the Fae in Aurelia, specifically Terrasen and the Steppe. Just want to say, Midgard means Middle Earth. In Norse mythology, it's the realm of the humans, and it is in between Asgard, the world of the gods, and the underworld, aka Hell. So, just a little history: Midgard was destroyed by the Midgard serpent that rose from the sea. Kind of interesting on what is on the gates of the Bone Corridor, right? Midgard was reborn by 2 humans and they started repopulating. So if you look at it like Aurelia and the Tog world were destroyed and then were reborn, we do know that Aelin's bloodline is definitely in the Crescent City world. It's just some food for thought. And I want to point out that Terrasen actually means old world.
We constantly look up definitions of things, and it always blows my mind when we haven't looked something up. Like, how did we not look up Terrasen sooner?
I did look it up a couple episodes, but now it made my point. So I said it here.
Do we think that Sarah Janet Maas was intentional with this?
Absolutely. Sarah Janet's an intentional gal.
When we say words matter, they sure do with her. Once in Bryce's apartment, she waited 30 minutes and then snuck out a rear stairwell and hopped on her scooter, not like a sick razor scooter, but like a Vespa scooter. Bryce arrived in the meat market, saw some shifty characters, and then parked. Not long after, Hunt arrived with the sweet whispering of, "I'm going to kill you." I just want to say, I do picture like a sick razor scooter, and not an electric one. We don't touch those, but I do picture her. I almost said Aylin, Bryce on a scooter. I could picture Aylin on a scooter as well. Scooter gang gals.
Picture I mean, I know it was a motorcycle in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but I picture Bryce's helmet to be the white one that Kate Hudson wore. Like, that's what I
Yes.
picture.
When Bryce is cruising on her scooter, she describes high above Main Street, a silvery sheen filled the night sky, limning the drifting clouds where the Malikan partied and dined. Only a flare of red interrupted the pale glow, courtesy of Redner Industries' massive sign atop their skyscraper in the heart of the district. Red lighting can be signified as like creepy or ominous. So, that being the only thing that interrupts the pale glow, it's a very subtle hint at foreshadowing. Once again, the amount of it in this story is crazy. Words matter. Sarah Janet pays so much attention to detail. I love it.
She is pretty big on the color red. She uses it in a lot of different books. So, I just wanted to know, Kai, what color does Moore wear all the time? What's her signature color?
I would believe it's rouge.
Rouge, or known as red, rosso in Italian.
We were feeling fancy. This is an educational podcast, so you just learned red in three different languages. Well, I don't think you learned red in English. You knew.
You might have just figured that out.
You
So
might have learned.
you're bilingual now. Congrats.
Chapter 18. I'm only doing two in a row because I stole Blake's last chapter, so you guys are welcome.
Thanks.
Hun was an excellent babysitter because he was only 2 minutes late. He knew the second she stepped into the open air, that scent of lilac. Why do I have the hardest time saying lilac?
There
And
you go.
nutmeg got him and he trailed her. He starts going off about protocols for contacting the Viper Queen, and Bryce is like, I am not here for her. They start walking through the meat market, see some wall art, which we will elaborate more on in a moment, and Bryce says hello to some peeps, then heads to buy salt. I'm going to admit that I'm enjoying their sexual attention. I read all the signs 100% accurately. There's no way that that scooter is there when we get back. Bryce batted her eyelashes, fluffing out her helmet hair. Good thing you've made such a big entrance. No one will dare touch it now, not with the Umbra Mortis as my wrathful companion. It's screaming, I want to fuck.
They got some excellent banter. Just like on the verge of hate, you know? Love and hate. Yeah, I enjoy it.
It's definitely like it's an enemies light to lovers,
Mhm,
LITE.
mhm.
So Hunt checked his weapons were in place in the cleverly constructed sheaths along his suit as he followed her. Hunt is very alien coded as well. Like, you go on with your bad bitch self, Hunt.
All his daggers and all his shit. Yep.
Imagine if it was the same maker, like they had traveled through like a rip in time and they're still making those same outfits. So Hunt is actually made by the same person that made aliens. Rogue theory, not
That's-
accurate, but what if? Anything's possible.
Thank you for that.
In the market, there's a big ass mosaic, the tiles taken from an ancient temple in Pangaea. If this is Aurelia, I wonder what temple, which we will definitely be getting into. Restored and recreated here in loving detail, despite its gruesome depiction. Cloaked in hooded death, the skeleton's face grinning out from the cowl, a scythe in one hand, an hourglass in the other. Above its head, words have been crafted in the Republic's most ancient language, memento mori, remember that you will die. It was meant to be an invitation for merriment to seize each moment as if it were one's last, as if tomorrow were not guaranteed, even for slow aging. I'm going to say veneer because I like how it sounds, but I'm saying it wrong according to the audio guys. Also, a fun reminder that you will die and the Asteri will not. And Bryce is walking in front of Hunt at this moment, the light specifically illuminating the saying painted on her jacket. also in an ancient language, as if Erd herself had chosen this moment to lay the two ancient phrases before him. Through love, all is possible. Why was Hunt destined to see that saying at that exact moment? We will dive into this quote and its sister later in the book.
When they're in the market, nope, I'm gonna start over. When they're in the meat market, Bryce was explaining like the different people and how she works with them. And one of them was a metal worker specializing in intricate little mechanism. And I read it and it's giving decor for me. Helps her identify if it's or things are fake, which made me think, I wonder what the fuck Lucian Eye identifies, because there's multiple little nuggets in there about like if she's telling the truth or like seeing fake things.
Like in Akatar, Feyre will say something, and I think it is in Mist and Fury, which is what I'm reading right now, but she says something and then Lucian looks her over, like
Hmm.
as if confirming it's a truth. So nice catch.
And that's a weird sentence to put in there if it wasn't a nugget for something else.
Yeah, because she's saying hi to multiple people, but why identify this specific worker?
Hmm. So just a little thoughtsies, not to be like the Thotum King, but just a little thought.
You are no Sodom King. You are not in my reverse harem.
No, that's fine by me. Thanks.
Bryce walks in to buy salt with big magical dick energy. Grade A whole rock obsidian salt. She asks for 7 pounds, 7 ounces now. Goat Boy running the salt shop trying to say, we don't do that. But Bryce was like, sure, okay, and calls him out online. He looks to Hunt, a member of the Triari, for assistance, but no dice. He tries to tell her 50,000 gold marks, but our girl likes to haggle, utilizing threats from her boss specifically to get a lower price of 10,000 gold marks. Bryce weighed the salt in her hands. It's 2 ounces over. Goat Boy's like, it's 7 and 7, just what you asked for. It's all cut to sevens. Bryce took her salt and was ready to leave. When she opened the door, who did she see? The actually coolest person in this series, the Viper Queen.
You really love her. Oh, we got the fake cigarette out, boys and girls.
It's my Gollum cigarette, but it is for the Viper Queen because she's fucking cool. We'll get into it.
We get into it like multiple times. That's how often we really have a hard on for the Viper Queen.
Big
Let's
Viper.
go big bike fans, okay? So for CC Community College, we're going to have a little salt course with a side of demons. Salt for protection against darker powers and demons. That's how it's used for. Asteria's Crystal Palace was a slab of salt and had built atop a natural deposit. White salt, purification. Pink for protection. Gray for spell work. Weird. Red, we do not know. Obsidian, summoning demons directly by passing the Northern Rift entirely, or various dark spell work. Obsidian could basically summon some big shit, like some big bitches that are bad. Big bad bitches is what Obsidian can bring in.
Some behemoth bitches.
Some behemoths. With salt, only one demon could be summoned at a time. Demons exist in their world now because most have been hunted after those long ago wars between the realms, but every so often demons got loose and reproduced. Demonaki are hybrids of purebred demons in hell. Just a little food. I'm done saying food for thought, but that's what I kept saying. Why? That's the term that will get on my head. And
Well, it's
Hunt,
salt.
salt. Also, when Hunt said he had a feeling this assignment was either going to be a fuck ton of fun or a nightmare, I feel like it's just a representation of him and Bryce.
He wasn't sure what she was going to get. The answer was yes. We were both. You know, last episode, during chapter 9, I said I was going to point out that 7 is mentioned. Blakely had mentioned now 7 symbolizes completeness, perfection, and dive order across cultures, and mentioned references to 7 in the Bible. Well, wouldn't you look at that? We aren't
Wait,
bullshit.
wait. I think you meant divine order.
You know what? You're probably right. You know what? I'm leaving it. Likely pointed out that I can't read or write.
Right, 'cause
But
that's
wouldn't you look at that? We aren't full of shit. 7, we learned here, is their holy number or unholy, depending on who is worshiping. 7 hills and their eternal city, 7 neighborhoods and 7 gates in Crescent City, 7 planets and 7 circles in hell, and with 7 princes who ruled them, each darker than the last. Don't forget, there are 7 courts in Prithian, 7 high lords, and it is prevalent throughout Akatar as well, tying these worlds together more. I've said a lot of words and butchered just as many.
you were doing so well.
I got too confident. Okay, lastly, we get introduced to the fucking Viper Queen. Literally the coolest bitch on the block. The tall, moon skinned woman was dressed in a gold jumpsuit, emerald hoop earrings hanging lower than her chin length black bob. Her full lips were painted in purple so dark it was nearly black, and her remarkable green eyes, Hunt knew her by the eyes alone. Humanoid in every aspect, but for them, green entirely, marbled with veins of jade and gold, interrupted only by a slitted pupil now razor thin in the warehouse lights. Snake's size or a vibrant queen. But tell me she doesn't sound like the baddest bitch. Like, I keep picturing her in a Juicy Couture gold jumpsuit, but like she's so fucking cool. That or a like swishy pants Adidas gold tracksuit.
Yeah, like, she's giving, like, Jenny from the Block vibes for me, like, that version of J-Lo, like
She's got hoops.
yeah,
Big hoops.
and that's what she goes for, and I love it.
She's so cool. Her
She is.
swishy. Don't worry, guys. I'm not done talking about how cool she is.
No.
For now, I am, but later.
Chapter 19. You ready?
I'm
You sure
ready. Spaghetti.
you sure about this? Bryce and the Viper Queen shared their pleasantries, and we get a full picture of how the Viper Queen is 100% that bitch. VQ, as I affectionately call her, mentions she I don't know why I wrote that. Mentions that she had heard. Hold on.
Just to be clear, Blakely does not call her that.
The VQ, not DQ, but the VQ, mentions she's heard that they have been spotted around town together, and Hunt instantly puffs up and says, "That's classified." And the ever so cool Vipe rips a cig and is like, "Shit's getting interesting these days." Bryce is sure. Bryce is like, "Sure is," and tries to leave, but the Vipe isn't done. She goes on with her monologue. "It's a good time for business when the key players converge for the summit. So many ruling class elites, all with their own interests. You got to do a sig. It's that time. There you go." She then tells them, "My office, if you will."
In the audio, she definitely reads tons of S's, so you drop the ball on how you read with their own interests.
But yeah, my teeth are big, and I just worry that I'll start like, I already talked with Mike Tyson earlier this week. I don't need to do it again.
I appreciate in this scene, actually, I fucking love that Bryce describing Hunt is like nothing going on upstairs, but everything happening where it counts. Like, I fucking love her so much.
How did you not like her? It's still
I,
funny to me.
I don't, looking back, like I said, I was a miserable bitch because Bryce is so funny.
She is.
This is 2 chaps in a row where I'm like, I laughed at what she did. You know, Amryn said this exact same line, almost this exact same line in A Court of Mist and Fury when discussing being made. Only once before was a human made into an immortal. Interesting that it should happen again, right as all the ancient players have returned. Which you could say it's really similar to now because all these people are old as fuck anyway, so they're ancient.
We brought up that line, I think it was last episode too, and it really just does feel like the mother, whoever, is pushing these stories right along exactly the way that they want them to. Hunt is not a-okay with this idea. Bryce is like, well, you bitched when you thought I wasn't doing anything, and now you're bitching when I am. Get your shit together, you little baby back bitch. I said bitch a lot there. He he then realizes that she bought all the salt just to get the Vipe's attention. Bryce smiles, check fucking mate. Turns out, much like Kylie, the Viper Queen isn't much of a decorator. Sorry, inside joke. Her office looks like a dive bar, but not like a cool one where it's like one where you feel like you might get hepatitis from walking around.
To be clear, it's not how my house looked. It did not look like you were gonna get hepatitis. But a long time ago, Blakely and another girl were both accused of saying that I didn't decorate my house. Like one said the other. Blakely said the other. I believe Blakely, definitely in this case. But yeah, they were trying to offend me by saying that I don't decorate my house. Like I lived in a rental and I was 21, right?
Yeah, and it didn't make any sense because I didn't have really decorations in my house. So it wasn't me. And that person lived with their parents. So
We were young and poor. Like I was spending my money on alcohol, not decor. Priorities as a
right?
21-year-old. Like
Gotta get
that's
that
crazy.
vodka. Okay.
A lot of Kettle One because I was like, oh, fancy. Chelsea Handler drinks Kettle One, so I drink Kettle One. And
Oh,
then I moved away.
that was before her Belvedere era. Yeah, I forgot it was Kettle One for a while.
Yeah, so I would chase like Mike's Hard Lemonade with that.
Yeah, I used to mix Mike's Harder with vodka. Yeah. Wow.
That was really our generation's what's those skinny cans of alcohol?
White
Seltzer.
Claws? Yeah,
Yes.
White Claws.
Thank you. I haven't drank one in a while, so I forgot.
I think ours tasted better. They're just sweeter. But if you put vodka with I don't know, White Claws aren't very good to me.
That's how I drink them. How I drank them. Ew.
Far. Yeah, gross. She rips another cig and cuts right to the chase. So, you're here about Danica. And she's like, listen, Danica was a threat to me, but she was a smart one. Our relationship was a working one. Once Max gets brought up, she's like, he's a swell little bitch, and I wouldn't pick a fight with his father. Bryce follows up, we heard that you pulled your people in. Why? The Viper Queen tells her, Serps can taste when shit is about to go down, like a charge in the air. I can taste it now, all over the city. Is that what you wanted?
Exactly what I wanted. Like 10 out of 10. Thank you. I'm satisfied. We can end the podcast now.
The vibe goes on. No idea what happened to him. Not my prob, Bob. Oh, here's my alibi from the night Tertian died and when the pack of devils were killed. Oh, no bigs. Just a little clean fun orgy. I said clean fun orgy. I meant clean orgy fun, but that's fine. The Viper Queen basically offers her the job, but Hunt gets all protective. She's not for sale. And the Viper Queen hits us with everyone, General, is for sale. You have to figure out the asking price. The Viper Queen gives them a word of advice. Look towards where it hurts the most. That's always where the answers are. They leave. And Bryce is like, okay, I
They
know what
leave.
I know what to do. Hunt's like, cool, cool. Stop driving a fucking scooter. It's dangerous. What a square.
When she's taking off, I'm picturing Protozoa from Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Let my heart go boom, boom. That supernova girl. Okay, that was a fucking bop.
It still is. Not was.
Yeah.
Still is.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I think that's one of Disney's best songs. That and then a Goofy movie.
Yeah.
You know, like fucking
Yes. Can't think of the
bangers.
name of the song right now.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
got
even know if
that, right?
are we allowed to say it? Is Disney gonna sue us?
I can reference something. I'm not singing it or playing it.
As I sing Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
They won't touch that. But Goofy
They're
movie,
like,
they're like, no. Power line, not okay with that.
Boundaries. That's where Disney draws the hard line. When the Viper Queen is like, everyone, General, is for sale. You just have to figure out the asking price. It's scary how dangerously true this is, but in this economy, like, I get it.
The foreshadowing of this is quite excellent. Also, Kai, what's your asking price?
Depends on what it is. In this economy, girls
Mhm.
gotta eat.
True that.
But also, literally, it depends. Like, are you asking me to hit someone with my car or off myself? Like, that was really dramatic. Are you asking me to eat a plant, I guess? Or, I don't know, play jacks?
Eat a plant? That's what you went with. Yeah, Kylie, I'll give you
What's
everything you want. You just gotta eat a fucking plant.
Depends on the plant. I'm looking at some that are like poisonous to my
You know what?
animals.
You know what? Forget I asked. Keep going.
Hunt watched Bryce drive off on her scooter. He's like, he frowned at the red haired woman, now inspecting her white scooter for damage. Even the helmet had been left untouched. It's giving God touched, aka Erd, is giving thumbs up on their path here. Like they're doing the right thing. Oh my gosh, where's my sig for the next segment? You guys, Crescent City Community College, Viper Queen Spotlight.
Wait,
Tell
hold
me
on.
this.
Why do you seem drunk?
That's just so funny because I haven't had alcohol in over 7 months.
But you seem drunk, and it's killing
I'm
me.
just ready.
You're drunk
Just
on the vibes.
I am. I am. Yeah. I'm not drunk, guys, but tell me this woman doesn't sound fucking cool. The Viper Queen arched a well groomed black eyebrow, the small beauty mark just beneath the outer corner of her eye shifting with the movement. Her gold painted nails glinted as she reached a hand into the pocket of her jumpsuit, fishing out a lighter encrusted with rubies forming the shape of a striking asp. A cigarette appeared between her purple lips a moment later, and they watched in silence, her guards monitoring every breath they made as she lit up and inhaled deeply. Smoke rippled from those dark lips as she said, "Shit's getting interesting these days." But how cool is she? She's so unbothered. She's so unbothered. Has a loyal following, which we don't need to talk about the venom she secretes. She's running a meat market. Have did you not like secrete?
Didn't like that. But keep going. It's fine.
She's having 3-day orgies. Girl is living the life. Hannah Montana has a song, "This Is the Life," and I think this is what she meant.
Hmm. Yeah, the Viper Queen was her inspo, Hannah Montana's.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah. We get this description of the Viper Queen by Bryce: a serpentine shifter whose snake form was a moon-white cobra with scales that gleamed like opals and whose power is rumored to be different. Something extra that mixed with venom, something strange and old. And when I first read this, the different, something strange and old did remind me a bit of like Amryn, as well as like the bone carver, like that old ancient.
Yes.
But then I was like thinking, I was like, okay, what else in the book? Where have we seen any type of serpent? And it is Naga means serpent. Maybe she's got not some dog in her, but some Naga in her.
Maybe she's gotta be like half or something. She's come
Got a
from
little.
an old ass world. Do you think that she is like a totally separate world from like Valg and Asteri and all that?
I wouldn't be surprised if where she came from was like something dark, so it'd be like one of the layers of hell, like that, and brought up and like a
Oh,
mixed.
interesting.
I don't know. I'm
Like
just
an
coming up with,
actual like hell baby.
yeah, a little hell baby. I've given birth to one, and just kidding. Love you, sick. Actually, River was a bit of a hell baby yesterday, but
Can't win them all. Chapter 20. When Vibe Queen said, look toward where it hurts the most. She was annoyingly onto something. Bryce was finally going to make a list of all of Danica's movements. Bryce was stuck when Lahaba suggested inviting eye candy hottie Hunt down there. Lahaba's a little obsessed with him. They talk about Hunt's huge dick for a bit until Jessica interrupts and makes Bryce actually work.
The fact that Lahaba is an iPad kid essentially kind of kills me. She's just over there on a tiny little dollhouse couch watching Bravos on her tablet. Fire sprites, they're just like us. Lily would be such a housewives girly. What do you think her fave franchise would be?
I can't handle iPad kid. Can't
That's
because
what she
that is like tethered to her. She loves her iPad.
she loves it. She does not want to work much. She's a whiny, loves her iPad.
She's an iPad kid. I think she would enjoy classic OC, but also watch Southern Charm for the men. Probably super into Love Island, like
Hmm,
into
hmm.
those like half naked men.
Love Island is kind of like Fangs and Bangs, right?
That's what I pictured. Like the
Yeah.
first, well, not the first time I read it because I didn't know what Love Island was the first time I read it, but this round I did. The way I choked when Bryce said to Lahaba, "Unfortunately, I don't think the size difference between you and Achelar would work in the bedroom. You're barely big enough to wrap your arms around his dick." Like, okay, how big is the fire sprite? How big is Hunt?
I just think it's funny that you use the phrase "I choked" when you're talking about Hunt's dick. Really? It's a double meaning, and I'm here for it. Taylor Swift would be proud. Shout out, listen to the song Wood. There you go.
I'm going to work on writing a short story, and this is me practicing my wordsmith
Mhm.
being
You're not gonna
self.
say he had a quivering member or anything. You'd be like, "He choked on his redwood tree."
Definitely, I'm not going to say he.
Yeah, I meant she. He choked on his own redwood tree. It's he's really flexible. No, okay, guys being flexible is a nick. I just need to say that.
I had a boyfriend once. Why do I always have a story for that?
You had a flexible boyfriend?
I had a boyfriend once, and he was so proud he could put his leg behind his head, and I was like, "Good for you." Where are we servicing this purpose? Servicing this purpose? Where does this
Well, I think you were servicing, honestly.
Absolutely not. I was not. No, I dated him for a short while. Short.
Yeah, after you could that party truck didn't do it for you?
No, somehow, like, he dumped me. One of the only times I've ever been dumped. The first time was by, ironically, Ryan's best friend in 8th grade. I dated my husband's best friend. They weren't best friends then, but, like, for a whole 24 hours, and then I got dumped on AOL Instant Messenger by his, like, best girlfriend.
He didn't even dump you? He sent in somebody else to do it?
On AOL Instant Messenger.
Wow. AIM was a rough I can't even imagine your away message after that.
I think I had a backup, so I was like, "Meh, whatever." Bryce can't get her brain train chugging along, so she calls Hunt. He immediately assumes something is wrong because she's never called him. She needs assistance, but not like a helping hand, if you know what I mean. With figuring out Danica's last whereabouts, when Hunt gets into the gallery, Lahaba takes this opportunity to quote, panic, unquote, and make sure Bryce is A-okay. We both said A-okay in this episode. It's just a ruse so she can hopefully get a glance at those cum gutters. Bryce opens the door and allows him into the library.
You love to say "cum gutters."
I have said it to you in
Twice today.
2 different instances. Yes. One referencing Fourth Wing, well, not Fourth Wing specifically, but that world. And then now,
Big cum gutter fan, this one, but not a flexible guy.
cum gutters, yes. Flexibility, no. It's like, oh my God, the worst visual just popped into my head. Like, Hunt's just dangling there and
On
like
his little
working on his
feeties.
flexibility and stretches with his Crocs on.
But are his cum
Hunt.
gutters showing?
He's wearing low rise at least.
Good, good. Good.
So let's talk about the library where these cum gutters are located. Queen of transitions.
Really great.
So some of these books and scrolls are the last known copies in existence. She pursed her lips, then added quietly, "A lot of people suffered and died to preserve what's in the library downstairs. The books were in long dead languages or in codes so clever only highly trained linguists or historians might decipher them. But she finally learned last year what most of them were." Knew the Asteri and the Senate would order them destroyed, had destroyed all other copies. There were normal books in there too, which Jessica acquired mostly for her own uses, possibly even for the Underking. But the ones Lahaba guarded, those were the ones people would kill for, had killed for. Bryce learned what most of them were last year. Just a little puzzle piece fitting into place before the grand reveal later of what that library is. Also, Lahaba in this chapter almost spills the bean. Oh, yes, the bean, just the one.
One bean.
Yes, but half of this is also Jessica's private collection. Some of the books date all the way back to, and then she's cut off by Bryce. It's like Sarah Janet was letting us in on the secret without saying it. Not even foreshadowing, just saying shit without saying it.
It was a great use of writing there. Just a little sprinkle of
I'm
like,
so glad
"Ooh."
she spoke. Here's that one bean. She gave it. Those are the nuggets she gives us.
Just one bean.
Hunt and Lahaba have a moment. He sweet talks her in a voice that even gets Bryce feeling hot and bothered. Immediately, Lahaba throws Bryce under the bus, sharing all sorts of info like, "I don't see why you complain so much about him," and how Bryce bought Syrinx to save him from a warlord client. She also had his proof of freedom certified so no one can buy him again. There's no stopping Lahaba, though. She then asks Hunt how much he costs. It's very much, "Karen, you can't just ask people why they are white in Mean Girls." Lahaba shares, "He and I are of the same house and are both slaves. My great grandmother fought in his 18th Legion during their rebellion. I'm allowed to ask." Hunt shares he was sold to Micah for 85 million gold marks. So Lahaba shares that she is 90,000 gold marks and Syrinx is 233,000 gold marks. Hunt is shook and is like, "You paid that?" Bryce shares that Jessica takes from her paycheck and that even her nice ass apartment was paid for by Danica. She kept it because it was safe with enchantments and security. I softened more for Hunt because he approached the couch, let Syrinx sniff his fingers, and then scratched the beast behind his velvety ears. Syrinx let out a low growl of pleasure, his lion's tail going limp. He's an animal guy. It's sad but so sweet that Syrinx bonded immediately with Hunt. Syrinx, Lahaba, and Hunt have a bond that we can't really understand, and neither can Bryce, obviously.
Yeah.
Bryce's idea of therapy was breathing techniques and a diffuser. I appreciate SJM writing. She knew she should have gone. Therapy helps so many people, save so many lives. Juniper had been seeing a therapist since she was a teenager and would tell anyone who would listen about how vital and brilliant it was. Oh my God, I'm Juniper. As I'm literally talking about it, I'm a big fan of therapy and think everyone should go through it. It's silly, but I do hope normalizing it here in the story helps make some people make the choice to go if they were contemplating it. But oh my God, I'm Juniper.
And if you're too cheap, like me, you can just go get aromatherapy, learn breathing techniques, as well as read Shadow Daddy books. Just kidding. Go to real therapy. But I'm
You can get trickle down therapy by having a best friend that's going.
yeah, Gloria, my therapist, not my therapist.
We
Hey,
love
she talked about
Gloria. Gloria knows who you are in a good way. If my therapist knows about you, we don't know if it's good or bad. You specifically is good. After Bryce and Hunt make fun of Lahaba's TV show choices, Lahaba goes to take a nap with Syrinx. She snapped at Bryce to not interrupt her and warned Hunt about not letting the books sweet talk him into taking them home. They're desperate to get into the world again. Bryce then tells Hunt she's struggling to remember and needs his help to get the memory juices flowing. When Lahaba's referencing the books and then yells bad at one, it was because one jumped out. The book, as if carried by invisible hands, drifted up the steps, floated to the shelf, and found its place again, humming once with golden light, as if in annoyance. Totally missed it, even on my first read, but caught it like while I was listening to it. Like calls to like, and they had no fucking clue. Hunt starts asking Bryce about herself, what she took in college, how she learned the old language of the Fae when she was a kid, how she got the job through Fury, which Fury and Jessica worked together in Pangea at some point, and then Jessica mentioned that she needed a new assistant. Fury basically shoved Bryce's resume down her throat. And then how her relationship with Fury was need to know over in Pangea, aka nothing about her work at all. Bryce asked Hunt how old he is, and we learned 233. He was hella young for the rebellion, 33 years old, but he has sick gifts, so he rose to HBIC pretty easily. Then he asks more questions about if she has killed, which we get into that story later, but Lahaba's pissed because she does not know it. Bryce gets her list going. When they finally start to wrap it up, Rune calls and tells them to meet him at Luna's temple in 30 minutes. Hunt really warms up to Bryce in this chapter. His whole demeanor starts changing after he learns about Syrinx. So him being more soft in his approach when asking questions about Danica to get her mind going was sweet. Fuck, I like Hunt. I like him now. Huge turnaround.
This is hilarious because I listened to her bitch about him for a year and a half, and that is not an exaggeration.
Like, not just hate, I intensely loathe Hunt. He was my most hated male main character. I did not hate a single male main character more than Hunt. And now I'm like, oh, you're funny. Look at you, like, cutie. Oh, look at those cum gutters. Like, all these things.
As one does, those cum gutters really like it.
They get
Okay,
anybody.
I was just thinking, remember when I brought up Juniper's last name is Andromeda and the Andromeda star seeds, and usually they have a purpose that comes down to help humanity? What is this girl doing? Telling everybody to go to therapy. She's trying to help the
She
world.
wants everybody to, yes, best mental health space. And we love Juniper. Dancing
L-
Queen.
Little dancing queen, little June bug. Chapter 21. Rune waited for his sister, and lucky him, guess who was accompanying her? Hunt Athalar. Goody. Rune tells them that he was asked by the Thotum King to find Luna's horn. Rune gives a little lesson what Luna's horn is, a weapon wielded by Peleus, the first Starborn prince during the First Wars. The Fae forged it in their home world, named it for the goddess in their new one, and used it to battle the demon hordes once they made the crossing. Peleus wielded the horn until he died. His ancestor, whose power flows through his veins, the horn became a problem with the demon princes, and they did everything they could to retrieve it from him. He showed them a picture of the 8-pointed star, the emblem of the Starborn, which made Bryce go still as fuck. Rune continued. The Star Eater himself bred a new horde to hunt the horn, using some blood he managed to spill from the Prince Peleus on a battlefield and his own terrible essence. A beast twisted out of the collision of light and darkness, which, spoiler alert, that is in fact the demon Bryce saw attacking the angel in the alley and the one that attacked her. This demon dwells in the darkest depths of the pit, so lightless that the Star Eater named it Crystallos for its clear blood and teeth.
Creepy little thing. That I like my visual of it, obviously I've said it's like a demigorgon,
Mhm.
the alien from Signs. It's just so much worse with its like clear blood and teeth. I don't like that
And like the
at all.
translucent teeth. Like, can you imagine if that thing
That's
had,
creepy.
and if that thing had braces, the marks that'd be left on its teeth?
The Crystallos getting braces, like
Braces?
you can be a demon, but you cannot have a fucked up grill as a demon. Like, not in my level of hell. They have good dental health care.
Naturally.
Princes of Hell, solid businessmen. We learn more about Rune's shadows. The shadows could only hide him from sight, not sound. Just curious about those Annabellen, Want to know more. We hear about Micah from the tour guide sharing the quiver, of course, is real gold, the arrows pure silver with tips of diamond. They were donated by the Archangel Micah, who is a patron and investor in various charities, foundations, and innovative companies. Once again, on paper, great fucking guy. It's really highlighted like all the great things he's doing throughout this book. Like, top tier guy.
Rune found this info in the Fae archives, and it was in the old language of the Fae. Bryce was like, I thought the horn broke. Rune tells her that during the final battle of the First Wars, Prince Peleus and the Prince of the Pit faced each other. The two of them fought for 3 days until the Star Eater struck the final blow, but not before Peleus was able to summon all the horn's strength and banish the Prince of Pit, his brethren, and armies back to hell. He sealed the northern rift forever, so only small cracks in or summoning worth salt can bring them over now. The Fae and the Steri had tried to renew it for years with spell and magic without any luck. I think someone has been summoning the demon to look for the horn, and now that the murders are starting again, someone is looking for it. Dear old dad wants Rune on the case because the starborn power was woven into the horn itself and it's in his blood, and he thinks he may be able to find it easier. He tells them that while looking for a book about it last night, a book, and I quote, shimmered, and it had what he was looking for. So his plan is to find the horn so they can find the demon, so they can find who is behind this. Hunt stepped out to make a call, and a Fae acolyte stared at him. He called Justinian, who answered on the sixth ring. Six? He asked him to look up the Crystallos and send him information. One thing was for sure, he was not Jack to work with Rune.
I appreciate Justinian. No one gets a medal for suffering the most, you know. Justinian pushed, his voice slipping into uncharacteristic seriousness. It's been 2 centuries since Shahar died, Hunt. He's right. Suffering is a choice. Like, Justinian must go to Gloria.
For sure. Rune made this comment where it said how his shadows and starlight worked, both halves of his power working as one. And that reminds me of another person, perhaps a High Lord in a certain territory that we love and want to move and maybe have our name named after him. That city. Just a thought.
Someone who were big fan of.
A little bit.
Big.
Huge. So we have a little Maasverse theory loading. Luna sat in a carved golden throne, the goddess lovely rendered in shimmering moonstone. A silver tiara of full moon held by 2 crescent ones graced her curling hair. At her sandaled feet lay 2 twin wolves. I don't know why I said two because that's what twins are. Across the back of her throne, a bow of solid gold had been slung. Both wolves and Fae claimed Luna as their patron goddess, went to war over who she favored more in a millennia long past. I am convinced Deanna from Throne of Glass is in fact Luna. Same goddess. So Luna means moon. What did Deanna have? Moonfire. Deanna was crowned with a star and armed with a bow and a golden arrow. That sounds pretty much spot on with the statue I just read about. When Rowan realized what the power in her hand was, realized that the flame she would have unleashed would be so cold it burned, realized it was the cold of the stars, the cold of stolen light, not wildfire, but moonfire. Why her magic was jumpy, Mala, sun goddess, and lightbringer, was sister and eternal rival to Deanna, keeper of the moon. Luna's sibling is Solus. Hello, the sun god. One Yulmus morning, when Selena had looked so uncomfortable to be receiving the golden arrow of Deanna, the arrow of Mab. Oh, a golden arrow, you say? Then we know that stag sacrifices are prepared to be burned in Luna's honor. The gods looked among themselves. Then Deanna moved graceful as a stag through a wood. We also know, obviously, the stags come with Terrasin. I just literally feel like it's The Office where Pam asked Creed to point out the differences between these two pictures, and Pam's like, they're the same picture. And as for the time difference in Throne of Glass, we have this quote from Elena. Word damn him broke first. Deanna is God. She does not have rules and morals and codes the way that we do. Time does not exist for her the way it does for us. They're the same thing. Same God.
I'm 100% on board. Blakely is right. Tell me that you're wrong.
I'm not.
There's no way to like prove her wrong. She's not.
I'm right.
I'm 100% on board with this theory. Deanna, Luna, Mab,
Same-
they're all the same.
Samesies.
Chapter 22 is a quick one. Bryce was checking out Hunt's sexy back when she straight up asked Rune if the sexy Thoughtum King did it. Alas, Stick Dad did not do it. Rune just wants to help Bryce, but she picks fights at any opportunity, like now reminding him how he called her a half breed slut. She told Hunt, let's go, and they pieced out. Back at the gallery, Bryce had to deal with a dick kitty cat shifter who bought a statue and had some grabby paws. She looked more into the horn, but neither she or Lahaba, a gossip queen extraordinaire, didn't know anything about the horn. Hunt knew she needed space, so him and his likely nice ass were on the roof. She started thinking about the what oh, she started thinking about what the Vipe Queen said. Look toward where it hurts the most. That's always where the answers are, and finished making a list of Danica's whereabouts. Bryce is in bed by 8. Important info. Sleepy gal.
Totally relatable.
Poor Rune is continuously extending olive branches, and Bryce is just like, absolutely not to every single one. And, that's all there is to gather in this chap. Bryce is being mean to her brother.
Truthfully. There was one thing, the thing that the grabby leopard kitty cat shifter bought. He bought a small statue of Solus and Chthona portrayed as a son with male features and bringing his face into a pair of mountain-shaped breasts. The holy image was known as the embrace. Her mother wore it simplified symbol, a circle nested atop two triangles as a silver pendant. I'm just pointing it out because we will dive deeper into this and possibly have some Maasverse connections, because it is odd that it'd be a god and a human mother gives a shit enough to wear it every day. I think there's just more to it. Chapter 23. Jessica called Bryce in the AM because she needed her to go upstairs in her office and send her a document. Bryce had some sass, and Jessica was like, hey, you want to be a worm? Keep it up, you little smart mouth. And Bryce walked into her office after getting through some enchantments, and she noticed the Godslayer rifle, which hangs behind the desk on the wall. It is broken up into 4 pieces so people don't get too shifty. But Bryce clues us in that it's fairly easy to put together. Also, there is a 6-inch engraved bullet that reads Memento Mori, the same words that appeared in the mosaic at the meat market.
When Bryce was in Jessica's office, she could have sworn a faint whine radiated from the gold and steel, like the legendary lethal gun was still ringing after a shot. Do you think it was like calling to like here? It's such an interesting gun. Like, why is it making that little calling to
Kind of like
her?
singing to her,
Badass calling to a badass.
or fate calling to her almost. Like the
Like,
Erd is
Erd's
like,
like tickling her.
yeah.
What? No.
Why did we both go
Yes.
the Erd and do this? Like, why? Is that our shimmering? But we both did it. Okay, piano man.
This is
No words. While Bryce was following the directions and sending her the file, she asked her if she had heard anything new on Luna's horn. Jessica was like, does this have to do with your investigation? Bryce confirmed, said maybe, actually. And she goes, I haven't heard anything, and then just hangs up. Kind of shifty, but okay. And calls Bryce and lets her know there's been another murder near the gate at Old Square. Bryce is like, yeah, I'm busy, can't go. Cough, cough, I'm sick. But Hunt's like, we're fucking leaving, Quinlan. Bryce tried breathing through the panic and anxiety of having to see the traumatic scene. Hunt tells her that a jogger found the remains and they think it's an acolyte from Luna's temple. Well, the crime scene's disgusting. Clumps of human remains. I didn't need to write that. She started panicking. Rune grabbed her shoulder and told her she doesn't need to see this, and naturally Bryce snapped at him not to touch her. Rune tells Hunt he's an asshole. He's like, well, I mean, I warned her. She's a grown woman and she doesn't need you deciding what she can handle. Rune's like, fuck you. You don't think it's a coincidence an acolyte was killed right after we went to the temple? Bitch.
justice for Rune. I have such a
Mhm.
spot for him. I have a soft spot for him.
A T
Like, he
spot
just
for
wants to
him?
spend time with his sister. He can touch my G spot. No, nope. He just wants to spend time with his sister and do what's best for her, and she's having none of it. He's trying. I'm glad he is because he's like really laying the foundation for him and Bryce to be homies again later.
It's just like such a bitch to him. Just being kind all the time.
Always the reminder of like every time I'm a half breed slut, remember?
People don't forget. So I get it. Bryce needed to get out of there. She would have gone to the dance studio to calm her mind, but she hasn't been in 2 years, so she tried just walking it off. Hunt ran up beside her and he told her that he was there that night, and he asked her how she survived the Crystallos. She told him, I didn't survive, it got away. Hunt confused, but it pinned Micah and ripped open his chest. But it pinned Micah and ripped open his chest. Bryce whipped her head. That was Micah? Dun, dun, dun. Poor Brycey girl.
I'm confused. High
I'm
penises.
I'm confused. He's like Kevin, uses little words, doesn't want to waste time. I'm confused.
Fucking appreciate it.
You do always call him a bro and like you used to call him a caveman. Hunt confused. 24. Well, that was quite a shock. She saved Micah Domitus that night. She asked Hunt why it was a secret, and he told her it was because of the optics. She asked how come they didn't tell her because she'd been looking for him in the hospital to see if he had made it. He explained it seemed wiser that no one knew, and Bryce was like, oh, so I guess I would have never known, and Hunt got sassy. Oh, you wanted a medal or something? She tells him to fuck himself and then is like, no, I wanted to know that something I did made a difference that night. Hunt apologizes for not telling her and also apologizes for her being on his suspect list. Fucking idiot. Naturally, Bryce loses it. You think I'm a suspect after everything? He's like, get the fuck out of my face. But if you could see my spelling errors on that, that's not. She is Ike et the fuck out of my face.
Your sentence was real life tiling, like a picture.
So our boy Hunt was winning points, but this little slip up definitely lost a few here. But to be fair, his freedom is on the line, so he's looking at all available options and is smart, but like, come on, dude, you know it's not her.
He was just like so frazzled in this moment. He could not help his verbal diarrhea. Just poor guy.
It's
Dumbass.
we get it.
But wait, can we talk about Micah's last name? She saved Micah, which means like a god, as in a rhetorical question. But his last name, Domitus, means belonging to the household slash slave. The saying slash was very important. But damn, Sarah Janet, with Micah's first name, she has us all believing currently, like in the story, he's good, doing all these things like donations to charities, foundations, and innovative things, very much godlike qualities. In his name meaning, the rhetorical question that forms his title is one that inspires humility, a quality deeply entrenched in Micah's central messages. Opposed to dishonesty, exploitation, and greed, Micah honors a mindset free from the desires of personal ambition. That's described in the name. His name was fucking foreshadowing all along. His name is a reminder that no matter how godlike he may be, he is still a slave to the Asteri. Also, shout out to Bryce for saving his life. You did make a difference that day because none of this would be continuing to happen if she just let him die.
Now, what a boring story without it.
Yeah, like she let an angel die. The end.
No bigs. Bryce pulls a Forrest Gump and starts running. She got a phone call and then ended up at the White Raven. She decided to torture herself and look at her last messages from the week before Danica died. Her mind wandered to the memory that has been alluded to a few times already. Cliff Notes. Bryce and Danica had scraped hands, she had a broken arm, and they were ordered to have their hands above their heads. Men were asking where those fucking bullets were in the background. Danica told her that she loved her, which was for the first time. The men found the bullets. Bryce told her, close your eyes, Danica. The shadow of the four here is top tier. All we know about the story is Lily wants to know it, and Bryce had killed someone before. Give us the tea.
I knew she had power here, like on the first read, but didn't know where it was going. And I love that this memory slowly gets more and more expanded on, giving the information to us perfectly in the story. Like I love it.
No, I'm with you. I knew first story, like she's way more powerful than she lets on. And even like with the Oracle references, I was like, something's not right here. And like after we heard Danica close your eyes, I was like, I thought it was what it is. So
Good
good.
for you.
I know.
I don't like being wrong, so I didn't want to commit to anything my first read.
See, that's your thing. You don't like committing to theories a lot of times because you don't enjoy being wrong. And I'm like, well, let's fucking go. Let's do a theory. She didn't bother to look at Hunt being there and just strode right in the club. And that's how we end chapter 24.
She went to the club.
Into the group. Thanks for hanging out with us as we begin our journey through Crescent City. We have new episodes every Wednesday. Join us next week as we talk about chapters 25 through 32.
Have you joined our community of High Ladies? It's our virtual book club where we are currently binging the series that had started it all for us, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Janet Maas. Expect extra videos, discussion questions, and the best time. Don't forget to follow us on social media for all our latest episodes, series, and more new book goofing. Make sure you also give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info, you giggling gal pals. We will see you next week.